Hello everybody, and welcome to part 2 of our Hyundai Kona review. This is the all-new model, and we are very excited to actually be behind the wheel of this all-new Hyundai Kona. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get this test drive started. Now in this test drive, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, as you can see on the screen right now, including getting our signature sound level reading going 55 miles per hour. But let's go ahead and start with the hard acceleration.
Nice. All right. Yeah, there we are. Taking off. We have the limited trim today is what we're testing out, and one of the unique things about the Kona, this is really the same as the previous generation as well, is the fact that they offer two different powertrains, so you can actually get a more powerful option if you prefer, and that's what we have today. So this is a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. We have 190 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque. That's a really good number for this segment of vehicle, as you'd expect. And especially when it comes to the torque, I think you really feel that. Yeah. As soon as you put your foot down, that torque kind of gets you off the line and, you know, feels kind of uncharacteristic in a sense compared to a lot in this class, which can be very, very slow.
Yeah, and really, in a sense, it is very unique that they do have the upper end models with a more powerful engine, because that's certainly something that's not expected in this segment. A lot of them do not have any engine choices at all. It's just going to be the base engine. So certainly it's good that Hyundai's giving you the option for those of you that want the more powerful motor. You just go for an upper end trim level. I don't know if Drew mentioned it or not. I can't really remember, but this is standard on the inline and limited trim levels. Now, if you choose the other that's really not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, if you choose the other more basic trim levels, that will be the SE and SEL trim level, you're going to get the 2-liter non-turbo engine, just naturally aspirated, 147 horsepower, 132 pound-feet of torque.
Definitely very punchy.
Yeah. It really goes pretty quick.
Let's talk about the transmission, because that's an important difference from the previous generation, and as well as an important difference between this model with the 1.6 and the standard 2-liter engine. So with this 1.6 liter, you get a 8-speed automatic transmission. So even though the engine is carryover from last generation, you previously had a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, and Hyundai has switched it to the 8-speed automatic because they wanted that smoother performance. And behind the wheel today, I have to say, I think they made the right call. This is a plenty responsive transmission, and I think it is really well matched with this engine. Definitely feels smoother than the previous generation, in our opinion. And that 2-liter model is going to come with a CVT transmission, so that's like I said, an important distinguishing between the two engines.
Yeah, so definitely, in a sense, if you guys are performance driven in any capacity, I definitely would recommend getting the higher end trim levels with the 1.6 liter, because not only are you getting a lot more power and torque, you're also getting the traditional transmission, so you're gonna have that more traditional feel with the higher end models. But I do want to take a second here and talk about the ride quality for this new Kona. Now, in the presentation this morning, Hyundai was very quick to point out that they've really improved the Kona in this area and tried to make it feel like a class above. And I have to say, from our drive so far today, it definitely does seem like a big improvement over the previous generation model. When you hit a bump, some of these Baltimore roads are very, very rough, and it's done a phenomenal job of soaking up the bump for the segment. And also, I do think that the seat is very comfortable. In general, I do think Hyundai's claim is actually pretty accurate. A lot in this segment can have a very rough ride quality, but this is not going to be one of them. It has a very smooth and premium ride quality. And now it's time to do one of our Car Confections signature elements. Now, we might not be back in Kentucky, but we do still want to do our airball and slam dunk. Drew, do you want to kick us off with the slam dunk?
So the slam dunk is going to reference part 1 of the video. So by the way, if you haven't seen part 1, go ahead and click the link in the description and check out part 1. But it's going to be the overall space and the feeling of space inside this cabin. It is a lot bigger than the previous generation, and it is one of the larger ones in terms of interior space and cargo capacity in the segment now. It also just is designed to maximize the feeling of airiness. As soon as you get inside this cabin, it feels like you're in a much bigger SUV than you actually are, with the way they've designed the dash, and you have a lot of storage on board as well.
Yeah, the storage I think is a huge pro for this segment. And for today's airball, we're going to say it's the polarizing design. It's definitely going to be one of those cars, you love it or you hate it. There's not going to be a lot of in-between with this vehicle, so definitely something to consider in terms of the design, especially when you compare it to some of the rivals. All right, let's get our sound level reading going 55 miles an hour on fan speed 1. .9 is our official Car Confections sound level reading for this all-new Hyundai Kona. Now, one thing I want to point out here, we are in Baltimore, of course, on a media drive, so we can't control the roads that we're on, and hopefully we will have this all-new Kona back home in Kentucky where we can do an extensive test on our home stretch of roads so we can really compare to those rivals. I do believe that's going to be on the higher end on the segment, but this road is a lot rougher than what we are experiencing back in Kentucky, so that's not an entire surprise, that's for sure.
We just want to give you guys that as a reference point in the meantime. And I also want to mention the fact that Hyundai has made a lot of improvements to the NVH. They really emphasized as well that they focused on reducing tire noise. They significantly reduced the amount of engine noise that comes into the cabin, which is something you can certainly tell, because even when you floor this down, it never really sounds super loud in here like some in the segment can. And like just overall, really you have a lot of elements inside of this vehicle that feel kind of a class above. That's one of them.
Yeah, and if you want to see all of this vehicle's competitors and how they rank when it comes to the sound level reading, we do actually have all the information on carconfections.com. We went through and we sorted them all, and there are a lot of competitors. So you can see all of this vehicle's competition, see how it ranks when it comes to the sound level reading and all that on our website.
And we got some corners to go around. I'll speak a little bit about dynamics of the model. Not bad. This, of course, is not the Kona Inn, right? But it feels nice and controlled. You know, this is one of those segments. It's not particularly, or being sporty is not the focus of it, but nice weighting to the steering, body control, totally fine. And overall, it's just something that is going to be suitable for any type of condition. You can take it on a back road like this, totally fine, or in the city, which is probably its most natural environment.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and talk about some of those other numbers that you might be interested in. Since we do have front-wheel drive or optional all-wheel drive, that does mean that we're going to have quite a few different fuel economies. Now, the model that we're sitting with today is the 1.6 liter all-wheel drive, and that's going to be coming in at 26 miles a gallon combined. If you have the 2 liter with front-wheel drive, which I assume would be your best fuel economy, that's going to be sitting at 31 miles a gallon combined. Now, it is worth noting there is not a hybrid version of the Kona. That being said, they have an all-electric Kona that we will be driving later this year, actually maybe early next year. So that's your option if you want maximum efficiency. You can get that electric version. And let's go ahead and talk about pricing for this all-new Kona. So we're going to start at a very reasonable $24,100 with front-wheel drive in the base trim level. SCL is going to be $25,450, inline a little over $30,000, and limited $31,000. Now, this particular tester that we're with today is about $33,000, and we do have all the options for this model. So that's pretty much going to be your highest end version of the Kona, which I do still think is a pretty affordable price tag. And then wrapping up this video with the warranty, we're going to have a 5-year 60,000 mile basic warranty, 10-year 100,000 mile powertrain warranty, plus we're also getting 3 years of complimentary maintenance. And guys, that's where we're gonna leave off on part 2 of our all-new Hyundai Kona review. If you enjoyed watching this, we would really appreciate a subscribe down below if you're not already subscribed, because by subscribing, you help get us invited to events like this where we can drive some of the latest cars on the market, and we truly do appreciate it. And we want to welcome you into our family because we do a lot of really cool stuff on this channel, and we review a lot of really cool cars. I promise you won't want to miss out on it. If you're already a fan and subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. And also, it's worth noting, if you haven't watched part 1 of our review, go ahead and watch that if you want to know all the specs and figures of this vehicle, the insides and outside. We do have that already live on the channel. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.